Cantos 49 to 51 of Book 2 of the Ramayana of Valmiki, translated by Ralph T. H. Griffith. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Om123. Canto 49. The Crossing of the Rivers. Now Rama, ere the night was fled, over many a league of road had sped, till as his course he onward held, the morn the shades of night dispelled. The rites of holy dawn he paid, and all the country round surveyed. He saw, as still he hurried through, with steeds which swift as arrows flew, hamlets and groves with blossoms fair, and fields which showed the tiller's care, while from the clustered dwellings near the words of patience reached his ear. Fie on our Lord the King, whose soul is yielded up to love's control. Fie on the vile Kaikeyi, shame on that malicious sinful dame, who, keenly bent on cruel deeds, no bounds of right and virtue heeds, but with her wicked art has sent so good a prince to banishment, wise, tender-hearted, ruling well, his senses in the woods to dwell. Ah, cruel king, his heart of steel, for his own son no love could feel, who with the sinless Rama parts, the darling of the people's hearts. These words he heard the peasants say, who dwelt in hamlets by the way, and lord of all the realm by right, through Koshala pursued his flight. Through the auspicious flood at last, of Vedasruti stream he passed, and onward to the place his pet, by Saint Agastya tenanted. Still on for many an hour he hied, and crossed the stream whose cooling tide rolls onward till she meets the sea. The hard-frequented Gomati, borne by his rapid horses over, he reached that river's farthest shore, and Sandhikas, whose swan-loved dream, resounded with the peacock's scream. Then as he journeyed on his road, to his Videhan bride he showed the populous land which Manu old to King Ikshaku gave to hold. The glorious prince, the lord of man, looked on the charioteer, and then, voiced like a wild swan, loud and clear, he spake these words and bade him hear. When shall I, with returning feet, my father and my mother meet? When shall I lead the hunt once more, in bloomy woods on Sarayu's shore? Most eagerly I long to ride, urging the chase on Sarayu's side, for royal saints have seen no blame in this the monarch's matchless game. Thus speeding on, no rest or stay, Ikshaku's son pursued his way. Oft his sweet voice the silence broke, and thus on varied themes he spoke. Canto 50. The Halt under the Ingudi. So through the wide and fair extent of Koshala the hero went. Then toward Ayodhya back he gazed, and cried with suppliant hands upraised, Farewell, dear city, first in place, protected by Kakutsta's rays, and guards who in thy temples dwell, and keep thine ancient citadel. I from this debt my sire will free, thy well-loved towers again will see, and coming from my wild retreat, my mother and my father meet. Then burning grief inflamed his eye, as his right arm he raised on high, and while hot tears his cheek bedewed, addressed the mournful multitude. By love and tender pity moved, your love for me you well have proved. Now turn again with joy and win, success in all your hands begin. Before the high-souled chief they bent, with circling steps around him went, and then with bitter wailing they departed each his several way. Like the great sun engulfed by night, the hero sped beyond their sight, while still the people mourned his fate, and wept aloud disconsolate. The car-born chieftain passed the bound of Koshala's delightful ground, where grain and riches bless the land, and people give with liberal hand, a lovely realm unvexed by fear, where countless shrines and stakes appear, where mango groves and gardens grow, and streams of pleasant water flow, where dwells content a well-fed race, and countless kind the meadows grace. Filled with the voice of praise and power, each hamlet wrought a monarch's care, before him three-pated Ganga rolled, her heavenly waters bright and cold. Over her pure breast no weeds were spread, her banks were hermit visited, the car-born hero saw the tide, that ran with eddies multiplied. And thus the charioteer addressed, Here on the bank today we rest, not distant from the river sea. There grows a lofty ingudi, with blossoms thick on every spray. There rest we, charioteer, today. I on the Queen of Floods will gaze, whose holy stream has highest praise, where deer and bird and glittering snake, God, Daitya, bard their pastime take. Sumantra Lakshman gave assent, and with the steeds they thither went. When Rama reached the lovely tree, with Sita and with Lakshman he alighted from the car with speed. Sumantra loosened its very steed, and hand to hand in reverence laid, stood near to Rama in the shade. Rama's dear friend, renowned by fame, who of Nishada lineage came, Guha, the mighty chief adored, through all the land as sovereign lord. Soon as he heard the prince renowned was resting on Nishada ground, beguiled by counselor and peer, and many an honored friend drew near. Soon as the monarch came in view, Rama and Lakshman toward him flew. Then Guha, at the sight distressed, his arms around the hero pressed, laid both his hands upon his head, bowed to those lotus feet, and said, O Rama, make thy wishes known, and be this kingdom as thine own. Who, mighty armed, will ever see a guest so dear as thou to me? He placed before him dainty fare, of every flavour rich and rare, brought forth the gift for honoured guest, and thus again the chief addressed. Welcome, dear prince, whose arms are strong, these lands and all to thee belong. Thy servants we, our lords art thou, begin, good king, thine empire now. See, various food before thee placed, and cups to drink and sweets to taste. For thee soft beds are hither borne, and for thy horses grass and corn. To Guha, as he pressed and prayed, thus Raghu's son his answer made. It was I, thy care, my heart to please, with honour, love, and courtesies, and friendship brings thee now to greet thy guest thus humbly on thy feet. Again the hero spake as round the king his shapely arms he owned. Guha, I see that all is well with thee and those who with thee dwell, that health and bliss and wealth attend thy realm, thyself, and every friend. But all these friendly gifts of thine, bound to refuse, I must decline. Grass, bark, and hide my only wear, and woodland roots and fruit my fare. On duty all my heart is set, I seek the woods and anchor at. A little grass and corn to feed the horses, this is all I need. So by this favour, king alone, shall honour due to me be shown. For these good steeds who brought me here are to my sire supremely dear, and kind attention paid to these will honour me and highly please. Then Guha quickly bade his train give water to the steeds and grain, and Rama, ere the night grew dark, paid evening rites in dress of bark, and tasted water on the strand, drawn from the stream by Lakshman's hand. And Lakshman with observance meet bathed his beloved brother's feet, who rested with his Maithili spouse, then set him down beneath distant boughs. And Guha with his bow sat near to Lakshman and the charioteer, and with the prince conversing kept his faithful watch while Rama slept. As Dasharatha's glorious heir, of lofty soul and wisdom rare, reclining with his Sita dear, beside the river lay. He who no troubles ever had seen, whose life a life of bliss had been, that night beneath the branches green passed pleasantly away. Canto 51. Lakshman's Lament. As Lakshman still his vigil held, by unaffected love impelled, Guha, whose heart the sight distress, with words like these the prince addressed. Beloved youth, this pleasant bed was brought for thee is spread. On this, my friend, thine eyelids close, and heal fatigue with sweet repose. My men are all to labour trained, but hardship thou hast never sustained. All we do this night our watch will keep, and guard Kakusta's son asleep. In all the world there breathes not one more dear to me than Raghu's son. The words I speak, heroic youth, are true, I swear it by my truth. Through his dear grace supreme renown, will, so I trust, my wishes crown, so shall my life rich store obtain, of merit blessed with joy and gain. While Raghu's son and Sita lie, entranced in happy slumber, I will, with my trusty bow in hand, guard my dear friend with all my band. To me, who oft these forests range, is not daring or new or strange, or could with equal might oppose a fourfold army led by foes. Then royal Lakshman made reply, with thee to stand as guardian nigh, whose faithful soul regards the right, fearless we well might rest to-night. But how, when Rama lays his head with Sita on his lowly bed, how can I sleep, how can I care for life or aught that is bright and fair? Behold the conquering chief whose might is match for gods and fiends in fight. With Sita now he rests his head, asleep on grass beneath him spread. Won by devotion, text and prayer, and many a rite performed with care, chief of our father's sons he shines, well marked like him with favoring signs. Brief, brief the monarch's life will be, now his dear son is forced to flee, and quickly will the widowed state mourn for her lord disconsolate. Each mourner there has wept her fill, the cries of anguish now are still. In the king's hall each dame overcome, with weariness of war is dumb. The first sad night of grief, I ween, will do to death each sorrowing queen. Scarce is Kaushalya left alive, my mother too can scarce survive. If when her heart is fain to break, she lingers for Satrughna's sake, Kaushalya, mother of the chief, must sink beneath the chilling grief. That town, which countless thousands feel, whose hearts with love for Rama thrill, the world's delight, so rich and fair, grieved for the king, his death will share. The hopes he fondly cherished, crushed, Ayodhya's throne to Rama lost, with mournful cries, too late, too late. The king Messiah will meet his fate. And when Messiah has passed away, most happy in their lot are they, allowed, with every pious care, part in his funeral rites to bear. And oh, may we, with joy at last, these years of forest exile past, turn to Ayodhya's town to dwell, with him who keeps his promise well. While thus the hero mighty souled, in wild lament his sorrow told, faint with the load that on him lay, the hours of darkness passed away. And thus the prince, impelled by zeal for his loved brother, prompt to feel strong yearnings for the people's will, his words of truth outspake. King Guha grieved to see his woe, heart-stricken gave his tears to flow, tormented by the common blow, sad as a wounded snake. End of Cantos 49, 50 and 51.